So let's go take a look at this. It's actually one of the reasons we chose Unreal 4 for this project is we probably would have an easier time making it in Unity with C#. But we chose Unreal 4 partially in part because it's a better marketable skill. So the previous iteration, the previous Dashkin game that Adam worked on with Sean didn't really go anywhere. So part of it is also if everything explodes and bad things happen to everybody, then we'll have a good marketable skill. Yeah, see, that is totally wrong right there. Like, we are now absolutely stuck in this thing. So it has to do with us turning and then sticking ourselves back into the wall. So we don't need the other fat sack to reproduce this. Basically, we are flipping ourselves and it's not working. So when we rotate ourselves, the local rotator is saying yes. That's what we'd expect. We're flipped around the wrong way. And then we set our relative to the origin. No, that's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. We need to set it to local rotator. And this needs to be origin. Yeah, that's the other thing about if you're getting started on a C++ project, that it's very good to have another person with you, because a lot of the times getting started on a C++ project just takes so freaking long, and it can be real frustrating to get started with it and just have to do a whole bunch of work just to do anything, you know? This is just weird. Something's really wrong here. As soon as we do public and private are not exactly the same as Java, of course, but pretty close. Basically, public variables any class can access. Protected are derived classes. Private are only this specific class. And then you can do stuff like friend classes, other things like that, so you can let other things actually go touch all the things. But it's not like Java where you have an enforced package structure, so you can you have a little bit more structure, so the language would be able to figure out, like, oh, this class should be able to access the protected or private member variables in this other class because they're in the same spot or whatever. C++ does not have those sorts of constraints, so things have to be explicitly linked together for like friend classes touching each other's privates. so we want so alright, we are rotating. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I screwed this up. We are supposed to be rotating. Gah. Well, there are no packages in C++ as far as like Java has actual packages and stuff like that. No, that's just not how C++ rolls. So I guess the question would be, you know, what does a package mean to you? What even is a package? And in C++ land, you've got like classes and stuff like that, and you can build projects and DLLs and things like that, which are kind of similar to like a jar file, but not really at all. So like the folder structure over here on the left with where I've got all my files does not matter at all to the compiler. It doesn't care if I throw all this crap in the home directory, or you know, you'll see some C++ projects where literally every file is in the same directory. Yeah, directory has absolutely no meaning in a C++ project. Alright, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to fix this. So our local rotator, basically we're trying to set this thing and it should collide, and it's not colliding. So why is it not colliding? Because, like, okay, we're getting our local... God damn, I'm screwing this up again, aren't I? Like, we should be saying set the relative... It should be setting it to the origin, and it should be setting it to... I'm just getting distracted here is what's happening. So we should be setting it to 0, 0, 0, and then checking to see if it actually works. So if it does overlap something, then we're going to set ourselves back to where we were. Okay. I found that it doesn't really make life easier. It's sometimes nice having things well structured, even, like, you get used to it. And it leads to a bunch of really sloppy stuff sometimes in C++ where projects will become very unmaintainable very quickly because everything ends up in the same damn directory, or things aren't organized whatsoever. And then that's one of the big problems coming from Java to C++ that I found, is that Java, it's real easy to restructure everything. Like, oh, I want to rename this variable and I want to rename this class and change everything, and you can do that with Java, you know, no problem. In C++, you really can't. It takes a lot longer to do stuff. So we're going to set this to nothing. We're going to set it back, and we're going to get the rotation of the shape in the world. And it did hit something, which is what it should have done. And it should... show collision. Okay, so that does look like it's working. Like we are moving in and out of the wall properly. Okay. So now we need to add in one of those fat sacks and see what happens there. And again, it has to do with flipping this thing around. Then all of a sudden we're colliding. I mean, if we never try to fix our child transforms, I just don't understand why this isn't working. Like, we flip it around, and then if it doesn't, then if it collides, we flip it back. We set it to what it was. It makes no sense. Okay, so maybe I can just set this guy to never move, and I can reproduce this whole thing. So let's try it. Let's try setting him so he just never moves. Feel like I'm getting about jack shit done today. It's just, you can't move, slow fat sack. You can't move. So when I turn, I'm gonna get stuck. So let's see. I turn to the right, it's going to let me. So we are rotating, our local rotator is 0, and we're going to overlap the component, and it's saying you are stuck. So we're going to flip our cells 180. Did we not compile here? Doesn't look like it. Looks like it skipped us. That's one of the things with Unreal is you have to turn off the compile warning because of some modified file timestamps that it doesn't clean up after itself. So you end up sometimes thinking you compiled your code and then it didn't, which is kind of annoying. So okay, we set these things, and we tried to flip, and it didn't work. Alright, so what the fuck is going on here? Like, this is not true. Like, compile my code, please. Why are you saying that this doesn't exist? It definitely exists. No, executable code is part of this. Okay, so well, I'm going to take a very short break here and I'll be back. So the only thing I can think of is that I'm actually doing this code right. And what's happening is something else is coming in and screwing it all up. And I think what's happening, I have a hunch. I have a hunch that there's something else going on here. Because what I don't understand is why, when I flip this character around here, why it has two boxes on it. So what I think is going on, somehow we've got multiple physics components on these objects that are doing things. So let me just take a closer look at them. Dashkin Entity Actor 1. Yeah, that's us. So we've got, looks like two paper physics bodies. One of them is a hitbox, one of them is a physics box. One of them is enemy hit, and one of them is enemy body. So it may be that the collision presets are not configured properly. And what's going on actually is we're overlapping stuff that we shouldn't. Oh my, 2 hours your code actually compiled. What is going on here? So we definitely have two boxes. It's probably that we're colliding with something we shouldn't. So what's going on here, this is my guess. When we're doing our physics checks, we are doing our physics checks, like why we can move around with this guy is because he is checking against the world. He is checking himself, which means he is checking only the components that he has on him versus the world. So when we do this, we actually have two boxes on our character. One is a hitbox, one is a collision box. 2 hours to fix, not 2 hours to compile. There are like 6 files. Yeah. C++ is it's a learning experience. So we got two boxes, and they're kind of offset from each other, kind of like this. We are only checking one of them. But when we have multiple actors in the scene, is when we're getting these problems, because they are checking only their one box, but we are hitting both of them. So it's actually going to be that we are hitting, and I'll go verify this. So if we go in here, our out overlaps are going to be, we are overlapping with a component. We're overlapping with this body component, and it's, what is its channel? I need to know what channel it is. Paper physics component. Yeah, it's the hitbox. Okay, so we're colliding with the hitbox. So yeah, our trace channels are all sorts of screwed up. Great. So, okay, that's progress. So what's happening is our object trace channels are screwed up on our body. Why are they custom collision? Well, let's boot up the editor real quick and see what we can find out about it. But at least we're making progress. Like this, I was wondering why everything was. Like, there's no reason for any of this to work out. It's like our physics box is colliding with our hitbox. Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me. So let's take a look at our object. So if we just drag this guy on here, yeah, they're already set to specific collision stuff. It's like their collision preset is custom and collision enabled, so we want to turn collision preset, we don't want custom for it, we just want to use the preset on this thing. So I guess it's the paper physics component. It's got this collision preset on it. And that's going to come from our texture tool import. So search for custom. So yeah, we have this geometry type is fully custom, which is what it should be, but paper sprite collision object, collision geometry. So we need paper sprite.h, collision object, collision geometry. So it's actually on the sprite, is what it looks like. So when we call add collision object, we'll do collision objects.add, rebuild, make a body setup. Paper sprite to body, copy instances properties from older body default instance. As I think it's on the uPrimitive component. So let's see, what exactly are we looking at? We're looking for custom. What exactly was it called? Because this is part of the problem. I'm not super Unreal expert master dude, so I have no idea exactly what I need to do, so we're still trying to figure all this out. Because we got like our collision channel, just like get collision object type, which is fine. What we're looking for is like our collision preset. Let's see if we can find collision presets inside of this guy somewhere. Yeah, Buzzlink, good job sticking to it on those things, and good luck. And yeah, we'll figure it out. It's a slow process getting our foot in the door with some of these projects, but once we get our foot in the door, we'll get stuff actually working. Alright, so there is set collision enabled. Is there like responses? So it looks like basically our collisions are all bit fields and with different masks, and right now it looks like we're overriding our primitive component when we create it. We're not set up properly. Like, I've got the collision object type and that's fine, but I don't want it to be fully custom. And it's got the same thing where we got these custom collision objects on these things, which is not what we want. It's like our paper physics component. Because we've got our body set up, which is fine. Collision enabled is query and physics. So it's really, I think it's by default or something that we created this thing, and it's not set to, it's set to override. So we need to like fetch the actual masks for the well, we're actually changing this, aren't we, at runtime? Inside of our Dashkin entity, in a actor, we're changing our we're setting our collision channel map. And that's changing the profile for this thing. Which gives us the collision channel based on the group. And then that collision channel map. Let's see, paper, flipbook, component, CPP. Set collision channel map is going to flipbook change physics state. Is actually going to go through and fix the object type properly and refresh the physics. So we actually need to change our, not just our collision object type, but we need to get our responses. So let's set our collision presets. Alright, so it looks like I have to actually call set collision profile name. And I have to get the list of names or something like that. So basically inside of our, we actually have to set the collision profile responses. Well, I guess I just have to call set collision profile name on it if I want to use that specifically. Otherwise, I have to set it myself. So I have to create like a get collision profile. So is that kind of what I should be doing? Is instead of calling set collision object type, I should be calling set collision profile name instead? It'd actually be faster to not do that. I just need to grab the list of responses, is what it looks like. So I need the collision response container for every collision profile. Well, how do we get those? Is it collision profile .h? Is that a thing? And we have these responses, so custom profile, developer settings, view collision profile. So we can, what I want is I want to be able to grab F collision response template. So the template, we have a list of profiles here. And then we can grab the template. The template has an array of responses. It's also got the actual response struct. This is not property serialized. So we want to grab the collision profile, go through all the get channel response params. Get profile template by name. Alright, so collision profile, then H is there. We just like hard coded this crap before. We can do the same. We just need all this stuff nicely available for us. We need a lookup. Collision redirects, object type mapping. This, check redirect. They don't have exactly what I want here. They don't have the collision the struct actually exposed nicely so we can actually snag everything that we need. So we are definitely going to need to make a map here that has collision channels to struct of things here. So we need a new T-map. Oh hey assassin. I am busy trying to figure out exactly what I need to do for collisions and all that stuff. It's going well. Well, it's going as well as it can be at the moment. Just trying to figure out why some of the characters were colliding with each other, and basically it has to do with the collision response channels that we have set currently are just wrong. So basically what's happening is they've all been set to custom and they don't have the collision presets on them. So we need to go grab the collision presets, expose them, and then we need to use them. So it's basically, in our physics utils, we need to keep track of these structs. We need to do basically a static T-map between an E-collision channel, and we need the collision channel preset struct, the response struct. This is going to be S response lookup. And this is like, you know, player bodies should collide with terrain, and enemy bodies should collide with terrain. Enemy body shouldn't collide with enemy body, or whatever, you know, stuff like that is what we need to actually go create. That's what we're working on at the moment. We figured out that that's what we need to make, and now we're gonna go make it. So, in order to do that, we can call uCollision profile, get known profiles. This could be init32 props, that, so it's basically for 32 I equals 0, I is less than props. Plus I. uCollision profile, get profile by index. And I is our index, and that should give us a const pointer to that collision response template. So we got our template. And does our template have the collision channel on it? It's got a name, it's got an object type. So the object type equals template dot object type. This is struct. Nah, this isn't insane. This is just reading documentation, figuring out what we're doing. And this is response to channel. So basically we just need to response lookup dot add object type, and then template dot response to channels. You've yet to learn how to use it in Unreal 4. Well, it's pretty much the same as otherwise. Now, where is this uCollision profile? Is this on the engine itself? Is there a static method or anything on here to like get this? Okay, so there's a static getter, so it's uCollision profile get. Alright. So we're getting it by that sort of stuff. I mean, using it in Unreal 4 really isn't too insane. There's just a lot of little things, like they have macros for just about every damn thing, which is kind of insane. But that's what they got. So I'm not gonna complain about it too much. response to channels is not spelled correctly. Alright, so get num profiles is not a method. I just get num of profiles. So I don't get that, so now I need to make a lookup function for it so I can go snag the thing out of it. So basically what we want to do is we want to grab a struct. So we want like void Dashkin physics utils get response by channel. Get responses for channel. That sounds good. Collision channel chan, and basically we want to return response lookup sub chan. Why don't we just go farther? We're gonna do collision response template. It's like, what is this? Not all who stream are as dedicated as you. You belong in a new class of streamer known as Twitch affiliates. Take part. Alright, so let me see. Good news, you're invited to join the Twitch affiliate program. As an affiliate, you can start earning. Yeah, let's see how that goes. You must enable two-factor authentication to modify. Well, it looks like I can now click the button and become a Twitch affiliate. How amazing. I did it, Mom. I became a Twitch affiliate. I now am affiliated with things. I can. Does that mean I get emotes? Does that mean I get emotes? Because that would be pretty baller if I got emotes. I'm gonna have to go mess around with that here in a little bit. So yeah, we just need the collision response container, which is inside of the collision response template. Which we've got. Okay, so we need, basically you need to pass in a reference to a collision response container, and we're going to say if sResponse lookup dot what contains chan, then container equals sResponse lookup sub chan. Otherwise, just nothing happens. Call this to get responses for a channel. Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna get affiliates so quickly. I've only been doing streaming here for a couple weeks. I must be super entertaining. I must be just... I'm just the next big thing. I'm not the next big thing. I'm just working on a freaking game. Alright, so... I'm gonna have to whip Adam into making me some emotes for my channel. I'll be like, Adam, I need to be more popular than you. Make me cooler emotes. And he's gonna like give me some really shitty ones, but they're actually gonna be really cool. And that's gonna be his downfall. Alright, so we got our responses for our channel. So what we need to do is we need to actually go into like our paper flipbook components need to snag these collision profiles. And how the hell are we gonna do that? I mean, we could basically call how many hours a day do I stream? Well, I've been streaming pretty consistently, trying to get like 8 or so hours a day in there with, you know, just working or whatever. And it depends. Like, I've been also doing kind of days where I'll stream for like 8 hours of game of you know, working on the game, and then I'll stream like maybe 4 hours of messing around in some game like Battle Brothers or whatever. So some days I've done like 15 hours of streaming, but I've been trying to keep it consistent. Like I don't think I've missed more than like one day in a row recently. So I don't know. I don't know. Or I called up the people I used to work with at Twitch and told them, "Hey, make me an affiliate," and then they did that because they know who I am. But that didn't happen. Alright, so we need to expose this somehow. We need to get well, let's make sure all of our crap compiles here real quick. No wonder Twitch want you to have some. If I'm an affiliate, do I get like subscriptions? I thought that was like partner or whatever. And you got cooler stuff when that happens. Well, it helps to stream stuff. It helps to be able to stream stuff if you know you're like me and you work your own hours and do whatever the hell you want all the time. So I guess, wow, yeah, frickin' everything has to compile because of this crap. Alright, so paper flip a component's probably going to totally have to change because we want to change it inside of... We need this information available here, don't we? So we need paper flip a component needs to be checked out. And probably paper flip a component.cpp. .h, I mean.